Hello, everybody. We're welcoming NFL analyst Mark Lathrop, and Mark's going to bring some information, some inside information, as I'm gathering, from Seattle, all about this Seattle Seahawks-Minnesota Viking playoff game this weekend. And it's very interesting because this line has moved. It was 5.5 yesterday. I actually locked a play in yesterday at 5.5, and then today it is -5. I have some facts that I like about this game. So, Mark, first of all, good to have you with us, and interested to hear your breakdown and bring some of these facts to life for us as to what's going on in Seattle. And apparently you're going to be giving us a pick also on this ball game.
That's right, Mike. Nice to be here.
Now, what, if you don't mind, Mark, what are some of the points that you were going to bring up all the way through as far as what you feel the advantage is for Seattle, if in fact that's where you feel the advantage is?
Right. Well, Seattle really turned their season around after the bye week, and the main catalyst for that was the introduction of Patrick Lewis at center. If you don't remember, the Seattle Seahawks lost Max Unger over the offseason to get Jimmy Graham, and most fans were worried about getting Jimmy Graham in the lineup instead of the replacement at center. And at center is a very important position for Seattle because they do a zone read offense. The center actually calls protections for the quarterback, Russell Wilson. The numbers don't lie. Before the bye, Seattle was scoring 21 points a game. And after the bye, they were scoring 32 points a game. And the protection was much better as well. Russell Wilson was sacked 32 times through Week 7, and they ended up at 46 sacks throughout the season, which cut his sack rate in about half. Which, if you follow the numbers of Russell Wilson in the last 8 games of the season, you'll know that the extra beat he was getting at the offensive line, or the offensive line was giving him, he was making great use of.
Absolutely. And also nobody can dispute the fact of his stats, touchdowns to interceptions after that break as well. He's crunk it up absolutely in full gear. Is there any other outstanding facts that are kind of, sticking their head out and allowing you to feel really good about this play as well?
Well, I do like them getting Marshawn Lynch back. Of course, he's one of the top 3 NFL backs over the last 4 years, but he brings 2 things, that not just yards and touchdowns, that you would think, and one of them is just vision at the line of scrimmage. You'll notice that when they plugged in Christine Michael, he almost ran head first into the back of an offensive lineman the first 7-10 plays of the game where he was called upon, just because he wasn't used to where the hole was going to be. You can't just see it and go. You got to kind of pick out where it's going to be before you turn and cut.
Sure.
So that's something that Lynch is going to bring to the table, even if he's only touching the ball 15 times. And then the other one aspect to have Lynch back is just ball security, especially in the playoffs where all teams are good, so they're going to take over a turnover and score on you and make it a swing. So Lynch didn't fumble once before he left in Week 8, and he's only fumbled 14 times in his 9-year career. So. That ball protection is going to be a big boon for Seattle going forward.
Yeah. I had another question for you also because, and I think in a game like this, because I think it's no fluke the way that Seattle manhandled the Vikings. And my hat is off to Coach Zimmer. He's done a great job turning that team around, and he is a defensive guru. They stood under the radar most of the year, and Adrian Peterson backed his words up and said, I'm going to lead the league in rushing, and he's one of the best backs. But I noticed very, very clearly that lower back problem that he experienced last week, that affected him. He left the game, Mark. He came back in, and the first and only carry he had after that, he almost fumbled it. So I've been a victim of lower back pain, and that's nothing you just jump back from. Now, he had, there's people saying he's going to shred this defense, he's going to this, and he's going to do that. I think this is the type of game, and again, it's only my opinion. I think stats and everything go out the window. What I think rides the motivation for this game is the fact how good they've been playing, and there's an unseen factor that is clear in every Seattle Seahawks player's mind, and that is that last play from last year when they should have had that Super Bowl, bottom line, and they know it. Now I think they're over the frustration part, and it's now turned to motivation, and this team is clicking on all cylinders. I don't even think if Marshawn Lynch wasn't to play this week, I don't think that would hold this team back, because Russell Wilson has his confidence, and he's got it in the huddle. Now, Adrian Peterson being hurt is one factor that I really liked Seattle in. The other is Teddy Bridgewater. I've never been a big fan of this guy. He's probably a great guy. He's a good athlete, but, you know, this is a whole different league than Louisville, and I saw last week some of those mistakes starting to come to fruition, and he's getting ready to play in some very, very, very cold weather. It's going to be about 0 degrees, all right? He's from Louisville. He's from Miami and played in Louisville, so that weather's going to affect him, and I would not be at all surprised if this is not a large double-digit win. And I put my play out with Seattle earlier, so it brings me to this. Do you have any updated information on Adrian Peterson? What's your thoughts on Teddy Bridgewater? And last, Mark, can you release that pick, who you like in this game?
Yeah, I don't like, well, I like AP, of course. I mean, he's a great running back. But I don't think this is going to be the game where Seattle gives up their first 100-yard rusher in over 26 tries, 26 straight tries. They actually, they plugged in Atiba Rubin. I just think of sandwiches when I look at his name for Tony McDaniel in the middle. And Tony McDaniel had filled in last 2 seasons, a defensive tackle, never missed a game, and Rubin came in and as a run stopper, and they really haven't, let up. So the game will be on Teddy Bridgewater's hands, and in that light, Russell Wilson just has the clear advantage. You might forget that Russell Wilson played at Wisconsin, and he's got huge banana hands, and he is not going to turn over that ball, where I think Teddy Bridgewater might turn over a few in that game, especially as they get desperate late, if they get behind in the game.
Yeah. Also, another big factor in this, and I had said this was talking with Teddy Covers from Covers.com, and there's a huge factor, I think, that's under the radar as well, and it's the Pete Carroll effect. This guy knows how to coach. He is the epitome of a player's coach. I mean, if he could put the pads on and get out there with him, he would do that. And again, Zimmer's up and coming, and I understand that, but I just think the experience that Pete Carroll has in coaching in big games like this is going to also play a huge factor in Seattle getting the W. So with that being said, what do you like, and how confident are you in your play, Mark?
Well, I'm pretty confident in my play just because of the DVOA ratings that FootballOutsiders.com puts out. Those are very good at predicting straight up winners, not to mention covering the spread. But in the cold weather game, we may have some more situations where teams are going for it on 4th down instead of kicking a long field goal because you're kicking a rock at that point. And just happens that Seattle is first in 4th down conversion rate and defends at the best rate 4th down. So we have a couple of those situations where Minnesota doesn't get that 4th down. We could have a 10-point swing, and that's why I'm taking Seattle -6 in this game. And I also like the over. I think the only risk in this game in taking the over is that Minnesota can't score, more than 10, 13 points or so. But I don't see Seattle really not putting up their average over the season this game, which would be, between 28 and 30 points.
Wow, that's an interesting
So that's
call.
how I'm playing the game, as a pair bet with Seattle -6, which I already grabbed because I thought the line was going to go to 7.
Yeah.
And an over of 40, and sometimes in some places you can get at 39.5 right now.
Yeah. Okay, so you heard it. Mark Lathrop, he's going with Seattle on the side, and he's going with the over. So pay attention to that. This guy is very sharp. Mark, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to get back with you real soon and having you on board with us.
Right, I'm on a little hot streak right now with my articles that are coming in every day, 5 in a row, and you can also catch me on at fieldgoals.com for the Seahawks.
All right, thanks a lot, Mark. Have a great day.
All right, thanks.